Ever since I rearranged stuff in my shop, like moving the dust collector out of the way and moving tools around a little bit, the space efficiency in this room got much better and, well, just this whole room now feels much bigger. But one thing that I didn't take into consideration was the door. This happens all the time. And it's just so annoying. It probably won't damage my sliding table, but really, it's just so annoying. I need to fix that. And guess what? I'm building a sliding door, as it's written in the video title. The big question with a sliding door, and also the one I struggled most with, is how and where to mount it. I really like when doors like these slide into a wall and are hidden when they are opened. But the problem with my wall is that, well, there's structure in it and insulation, and it would be an awful lot of work to get all of that out, clear it, clean it, and then make room for the door. So what I'm going to do instead is to mount it to the outside of the wall and then enclose the door with a fake wall. So after I removed some stuff, I came up with a design that I could build out of easy to find parts like angle aluminum, ball bearings, bolts, and a little bit of wood. But then I came across a sliding door rail kit that included everything and would cut down on the building time like a lot. But also this rail kit still needs something to get attached to. Therefore I prepared a beam that gets screwed to the outside of the shop. Next I'm cutting a small section out of the beam. You will see later what it's good for. And chamfering the edge with a hand plane. The joy of hand planing, but oh my god. As the new door is going to slide outside of the shop, there's no real stop or door frame that would fully close it. So I'm making another piece that the door then can slide against. Alright, this is done. Now I can cut the rail to length. They give you a formula for calculating the length, so 2 times the width of the door minus 30. And as my door is 850 millimeters wide, that equals to 1 meter and 67 centimeters. To mount the rail I have to use countersink screws because the head of a flathead screw is just too big. The problem here is that I have to screw in dead center because otherwise a countersink head would move the rail. A self-centering bit like this one would be ideal for the job, but unfortunately it's too small. So what I'm going to do instead is take a regular drill bit and it fits the hole, and I just turn it a few times in the hole, and that will leave a little mark in dead center. Alright, now I need a door. Well, now this is my door. Right now it's pretty much just a piece of sheet goods, and the stuff is called, I guess, 3-layer sheet. It's the direct translation from German to English. I honestly don't know the correct terminology. But here I have a smaller piece on which it's easier to show what it actually is. So the wood on this is spruce, and as you can see there are 3 layers. Top and bottom layer has the grain running in this direction, and the middle layer has grain running in this direction. So it kind of acts like plywood, but instead of having plies, these are actually all solid pieces of wood. You can see some glue lines here where they get glued together. So this gives the door a really solid looking appearance, and with the layer in the middle running in this direction with the grain, that also stabilizes the whole door, and it should stay flat, which is kind of important for a sliding door. And the stuff is also not that expensive. I bought it at a carpentry and paid 55 euros for it and got the offcut piece for free. Try to get it for that price in a hardware store. They also cut it to size and perfectly square with their big magic CNC paddle saw cutting machine thing. Awesome machine. So it's already perfectly sized. Now I can install the mounting pieces to the top, and as the manual says, I don't read the manual, I know where they need to go. Kind of. While I have this easy access, I also chamfer the edges because holy crap, they are sharp and splintery. So now these hooks can be hooked into the bolt head and secured with this nut. Now that was a lot simpler than I thought. But right now it's not straight or level or anything, but well, you can adjust all of that with these screws. As the gap is on the top, this end needs to come up higher, and I can do that by screwing here. And as the screw has a flat spot, it's really simple to do. Now it's closing properly. The set also includes a piece for guiding a door on the bottom, but for that to work I need to cut a slot into the bottom of the door. To do that I'm using one of these slot cutting router bits. So it's a few shavings later, and that's what I was looking for. With the door back in place, I can now figure out the position of this guide, and it has to guide the door both when it's fully opened and when it's fully closed. So right about there is a good spot. I marked the right position, and now to mount it permanently I should use screws, but I don't really have room to drill into the floor, and I actually don't want to drill in the floor. So instead I want to glue it down with silicone. So I let the silicone dry actually for 2 days or so, and yes, it's strong enough for this. So I created this recess here that the door is supposed to fit into, but as you can see this doesn't fully work because the door is off right down here. Holding a straight edge against the door I can tell that this is perfectly straight. But as you can see this, or both of these pieces, are not straight. So to compensate for that I'm going to take a scrap piece of wood and cut it to a wedge shaped piece so it will take up this space here. A tapering jig for the table saw would be ideal for this, but as I don't have one, I'm just going to cut it freehand on the bandsaw. And now it closes like it's supposed to. This rail kit also includes a thing that keeps the door shut when it's fully closed. And I already put it at the right position. And on this side there's also a little stopper. And this is how it looks from the inside now. Oh crap. Well, I should install a handle first. To make the handle, I made this template here to use with a guide bushing in my router. And I already made a mark on the door. Now I just line up these two marks. And then I can route out the handle shape. So the door itself is now pretty much finished. There are just a few aesthetic things that need to be done. First of all, I have to shorten this beam. Originally, I wanted to build a fake wall here so that the door could slide into it. But now I changed my mind because the door looks actually nice and I don't want to hide it. So I'm just going to cover up the rail. Now you can also see what this recess is good for. The other thing is that from the inside it doesn't really look that pretty. So to hide all of that, I'm going to build a really simple door frame. Alright, and now it's finished and looking pretty good, and it's much more practical than a traditional door. It's just so space saving. What I didn't really mention is that installing a sliding door with a rail kit like this is actually really simple. The manual it comes with, that I did not read, is really well written, easy to understand, and they also provide you with a bunch of mounting options for the rail if you don't have a wooden support like I do, so brackets. And it was also not that expensive. The whole rail kit cost 50 euros, and so the whole project was about 110. And that's not really much for what you get. So this time I really can recommend buying this kind of hardware instead of making it yourself with whatever material you have on hand, because it will save you quite a bit of time. The last question is, should I varnish the door or not? Because it already looks really nice, but I don't know if it really needs the protection or not. But you can help me with this decision, because there will appear a little info box right now in the video, and there you can vote if I should apply a finish or not. Ever since I reorganized my shop a little bit, ever since I rearranged stuff in my shop, the door could slide into it. But now that the door is there, but well, now I changed my mind, because the door looks actually. It is really well written, nice, easy to understand.